I couldn't aim. It was awful. That was a disaster.
We're into the match now, so no more filling is required. But NRG,
that was valuable information, Dan. I wasn't filling.
NRG will be looking to fill the round column with wins, James.
Very good, very good.
In this round.
It's the start of a good game, this is.
Yeah.
So it looks like FaZe are ready to split the A site. They've got mid. Do they have the range, though? Guardian has a P250. I'm not sure what Rain had. One would presume the same. Now you see Guardian looking over towards the B bomb site. Daps is slowly moving over towards B as well. The vent has been popped, but they're not quite committing to anything just yet. Trying to get some reaction from NRG, who still have 3 players firmly into the A site. Perhaps Guardian can sell a fake again. Bear in mind, the man with the ranged pistol for the T side is the one looking to make an opening. If he wants to land a headshot, he wants to make sure it's a kill.
This is really cool, actually, from FaZe. I mean, trying to get the info there. That's a really nice pick-off. And what does that do to NRG now? They're going to move the players who are 3 on that A site. They're not moving a muscle. It's just Ethan who's starting to rotate a little bit, and the bomb is going there as well. The Guardian has said, okay, guys, this is just clear. Let's just not mess around with the fake here. NRG are indeed holding their positions as well. And now they're going to start to spot the players moving towards the B site with the bomb. So the info's there for NRG as they get the full rotation. But there is another lurk potential in Nico as now he comes in through the A squeaky door.
Ethan knows to expect this, and he's pretty good for it as well. Nico with the late flank, but he was being rated for by Fugly. The bomb is planted. Kerrigan with a grenade. It is a flashbang. They're both going to get flashed, or 3 players in fact. And the round is going to go the way of NRG. Looks like 2 of the players might get that cheap helmet upgrade for $350 if their armor is parfait. That is definitely the CT start you want on Cash, a map where the defense can be brittle. That is a great start indeed.
Yeah, and I really like how teams are trying to find consistency on the pistol rounds there. You see that FaZe have multiple chances to just get information and to create opportunities to win the round, as opposed to just saying, let's just rush here and then see what happens. You know, it's more advanced than that. So I really like that level of detail. It's a decent nade there. Guardian taking a lot of damage. And the Bulgarian Beast, he's already been unleashed to a certain extent. They're feeding him, but how much will he get in this round? The UMP, a great flash in there. Another one for Cirque, and he's just going to wreak havoc there as much as he can. Nico finally gets him down, but he has made some money. He'll be happy enough.
NRG knew that the rifles were coming round 3, so they mostly went for the M4s, went for guns over utility. Well-placed pop flash. Definitely one to have in your repertoire at home. Just have somebody towards the headshot position, throwing a flash for this player and checkers to peek. Something I first saw, ironically, from Existence, who used to throw it for RPK. So maybe we'll see more of that as G2 continue to build with their new 5-man roster. 5 AKs out, some pop flashes and some smoke grenades. And that's about it. Ethan with a jump peek. May have seen Rain, probably would not have seen Guardian and Chroman.
Yeah, looking to burst onto that A site. NRG being a very dangerous force in Counter-Strike lately, and let's see how well they'll deal with this push. Tommy was alluding to how easy it can be to take this bomb site from the T perspective, and so far it goes fairly well. Nice tapping there from Daps, looking very fine so far. Able to not just level things, but come out with a man advantage and keep the bomb in the open space there in front of the bomb site. It will be difficult for FaZe to collect that and to plant it. Nico will go hunting to try to alleviate the danger, but the danger is lurking. Nico with 1. Now he has to do everything by himself as Breeze takes down Guardian. He has time. That's really all he has going for him.
Does he smoke off to face the smoke afterwards? Sorry, does he plant? Well, he does plant. Cirque and Breeze respecting him. Cirque holding the range. Does he have to cross towards A main? It looks like he might have, but he's got to move forward at the same time, and he's doing that. Nico with a very tight angle. How often do you see this being held? Surely he gets peeked eventually. He knows his time is up. He's been spotted now. Question is, where is Cirque coming from? The high flashbang avoided by Cirque. Sees the jump. Where's second player, though? Is that the same guy? Doesn't matter. The trade is there for NRG. The 2 players work together very well, and they get the round.
Very, very good effort from Nico. And also from NRG. Again, it's a site that can absolutely collapse on you when the T's rush in there with the requisite nades. And FaZe also kept open the right spaces so that they could get advantageous engagements moving onto the site. And it was really the bomb dropping in the position that it did that I think caused the most pain to FaZe, because it then was this huge issue that they had to create plays to secure space so that they could safely get the bomb, have time to plant, and so on and so forth. So NRG holding on very well there. I like that we saw some clean fragging from Daps early on as well. And now it's down to the pistols for FaZe into round 4.
This is an opportunity for the NRG players to build. Guardian's not having a good time with these grenades. He had chunks taken from him towards B in a previous pistol round, and he will be obliterated. Jettisoned into the sun. He will burn in the atmosphere. 4 players can still be dangerous here for FaZe, though. 3 CZs and a Desert Eagle onto Nico.
That was very scary for Daps. Takes the damage, gets out alive, though. And in doing so, concedes a lot of space in the middle area, and that's something that NRG are aware of. They're in an interesting position here. They want to get information. You can see they're doing so towards A main. They've spotted there's nothing going on there. And that might give them the information to float Daps over towards B, as now they start to feel the presence there. And indeed, that's the best hope here for FaZe, as they start to gather the forces for the push.
40 seconds remain. Croman has the flash, also has the bomb. Trying to boost over the smoke, one would presume, but how much time do they have of which to do this? Nico looking for something cheeky. There is a defensive smoke from the CT side. They can jump at the back box to look over the smoke. Actually, it might be too far forward, but it's going to work out anyway. Target practice for Cirque. Insta trade from Daps. AWP will be collected, and on they go.
That was a couple of very nice shots from Cirque. Looked like the last one would have hit if he had 10, 20 milliseconds more. And a great start indeed. And you know, one thing that we look at these days is the strength of that T side on the of Cash, and that was something that Tommy mentioned. There is this requisite for CT sides to be aggressive, to take map control, and you get punished very hard by by good T-sided teams if you play a passive CT setup consistently. And so you never want to be predictable though, so you can't be aggressive all the time. So this is really the balance, the line, the tightrope in which that NRG are forced to walk, and you can see there is some aggression on the B side of the map from them. I think you'd less commonly find it there than A. They get some information, but they can't post anyone towards the sunroom, which is really the best case there. That's a big pick off from Ethan.
Yeah, Nico normally notorious around the squeaky door. This is just one round, but FaZe are still looking for their first 1 minute mark. Guardian and Croman boosted. Look how passive Daps is playing. NRG will be aware that somebody could sneak up mid. Although, speaking of being sneaky, has he timed it well? Is there a trade from Guardian? No. 45 seconds on the clock now. The remainder of FaZe towards A.
Really nice entrance though from Rain, able to take down Breeze, who was boosted up, and that's typically an incredibly strong position, but they had exactly the right grenades for the job. Rain caught off guard there, has to somehow turn around and frag out, but he can't. As the bomb goes down from Carrigan, he can't have time to really draw his gun after planting, so a really nice and decisive swoop in there from NRG in a timely manner will secure them the 5th round on the board. 5-0. FaZe did get a bomb plant though, and with the 5 rounds lost in a row, the consecutive round loss bonus, that will be $4,200 awarded them. Awarded for the loss.
As good an AWPer as we have seen Cirque prove himself to be, I still feel like he needs more tests. Well, A, the whole team needs more tests on LAN, which they are most certainly getting at the moment. And B, I think he needs more tests versus stronger opponents, which won't give up the opportunity to frag so easily. Those will really test the mark of a true AWPer. His right to be at the table. Maybe we'll see that throughout this tournament.
And it's cool too because Cirque is quite well-rounded as a player, and he's someone that puts a lot of thought into the game. He's you see those explosive AWPers that are sort of just raw talent is dripping off of them, but that's sort of their weakness as much as it is their strength because they rely on it so much. But Cirque has shown that he will prepare, he will study, he will try to play intelligently, as well as use his ridiculous latent talent to dispatch his opponents. And look at the map control here from FaZe so far. They've got middle. They have forced NRG into a somewhat passive approach. Again, not comfortable for the CT side. Let's see how they handle it.
Three CTs around the site. Breeze with a very fast 2K, and he rings the bell of Nico. That's causing a lot of problems. That's looking below him. Distracted by Carcass. Now Nico makes his way onto the site. It was looking so good, and now Cirque finds himself alone. Able to... Oh, he just saw a flick there as well, but can he finish off Guardian? Pre-firing, knows he can USP, but Guardian has the advantage at the end. That really slipped away quickly. After the work Breeze did in that round, what happened?
Yeah, I mean, we saw Daps sort of a little bit confused, shooting a dead body, I think, at first, and then adjusting. Perhaps that was a missed opportunity, and then, yeah, they just FaZe were able to just swing the tide there. There's the almost 3K. But Cirque, this engagement here, he gets the connection. That's the leg, and wow, yeah, Cirque is scary. Even when he's losing when he loses the round, he still looks scary when he dies. So here he goes. Oh, I think they're posted up, waiting for him. Here comes the peek. Oh, he still nails it though onto Guardian. That is fantastic, and that is some much-needed space now controlled by the CTs.
For sure, and this is the reset round if NRG are to be successful, only Guardian surviving in the round prior.
I think Cirque was trying to bait a jump there to maybe get the door opened by Nico, who he knows is hiding, because Nico may suspect that that jump sound might be them trying to boost, and that could be an opportunity to swing out, but Cirque baits it. Nico doesn't fall for the bait, does give his presence away to Cirque though. And now we fall into the 5v4. So far NRG have been good at getting an advantage, and then sort of just holding on to it.
We were quite creep into A main. Ethan made a play, and that gives him a strong position. Again, it's going to be interesting to see the approach to mid, as NRG have 5 players alive, and they know that no one is watching mid, so they will protect highway as necessary. We're only expecting that will drop some flashbangs, but oh, Ethan only good for the 1 kill. He traded, but it's a 4 versus 2. And now Rain is alone with 35 seconds left on the clock. This is disaster for FaZe. No weapons will be saved at all by FaZe. And we might be in force by territory. 6-1. This is a monstrous start for NRG.
Yeah, and this is the perfect kind of map for a team like NRG. They are a team that is, from an individual skill perspective, I mean, we had the coach saying, you know, they're peaking right now. Everyone is sort of peaking individually. This map is another reason why it's fallen out of favor recently, is because its volatility lends itself to its nature of being very friendly to these aim battles. Look how open these spaces are. Aim can really dominate. That said, we're talking about FaZe on the server as well, but right now NRG are playing really flawlessly when it comes to getting an advantage, falling back. Getting an advantage, falling back. Discipline is what we're seeing.
How quickly NRG are out of the middle area. They do not want to die on their swords in mid if they can avoid it. Obviously, this is a dangerous round. They will expect the force buy, and NRG's money was not necessarily spectacular, so FaZe can still do some damage. There is still a way back into this for them, but they need to find a way to some success. Croman picked off quickly. Carrigan not in a position to trade. He's only got a CZ. Nico's the man with the Galil, the only rifle in this round, although we know they are ever dangerous with these pistols as well. Easier said than done, perhaps, though. There is Nico with the Galil. 2 players spotted by the cart. Rain pulling out the AK, but Cirque from close range, straight in the face. And now Daps is coming into action as well. Another flick from Cirque, and that leaves Guardian alone without the AWP. Got himself an M4. Molotov to try and buy some space. He's got time as well. Doesn't need to commit to the bomb plant, but Fugly might be expecting that. Runs wide and gets picked off. No one to trade. 1 versus 2 now, and oh my god, it's down to the 1 versus 1. The 2 snipers against each other. He gets to the high ground, sees Cirque, but Cirque's ready for it, as he almost always is. The cleanup operation from Cirque, but FaZe did make that expensive.
James, Cirque is 12-3. He hasn't missed a shot. I don't think we've seen him miss a shot. The one spot where you could say, oh, maybe he missed a shot, where he didn't get the kill on Guardian, he gets the leg, then the next follow-up shot with the AWP, he's shooting Guardian, he's like tracking Guardian perfectly through the wall. If an enormous wall is not in the way, he hits that shot as well. So far, he's been put through quite a few tests, and he has managed to deliver for NRG. And as you say, in very critical moments, because it's affected FaZe's economy in the worst way for FaZe, at least. As we now see NRG, getting a little bit more aggressive, more cheeky again. Here's a different type of aggression. Something used to be, this used to be very commonplace. Big damage from Ethan, though, as he discovers the pistoling players of FaZe, and he will put them to rest.
NRG have to be careful. Again, that 3 versus 1 in the previous rounds. If FaZe were on a bye this round, then that could have been reset territory for them. So the Glock run will most certainly help them stabilize, but they definitely made some assumptions there. Charged the site, but not in the fashion that stopped them from being punished. 8-1. Very important round for both sides. Guardian on the sniper rifle once again. How will Cirque be defeated, though? That is the question. I'm sure we'll see a difference in approach once again. With the scope, is Nico close enough to hear that scope? Is he close enough to hear the door has been opened? His angle would suggest yes. Oh, look at the information from Cirque. Such a smart individual player.
Wow. Wow. I just love how safe he played it. The flash for the info, that's beautiful, and it could get even worse here. But perhaps Rain can find a timing, because now they actually are boosting. And Cirque, oh, the timing. I think Rain would have spotted the barrel. He's going to hit the jumping, though. And Cirque is going to get him off, catching the tail end of Rain as the smoke dissipates. That could not have gone worse for Rain. Again, though, I'm drawn back to that frag against Nico. That was just beautiful work.
Yeah, the question is, how many times have they played against Cirque? How familiar are they with his playstyle and those kind of actions as we saw beyond the squeaky door? 8-2, Guardian and Croman have no response to these kills. 2 from Cirque, 1 from Breeze.
Yeah, it's very difficult to imagine how to save this round, but it is FaZe. We know they're capable. Croman creeping his way forwards. Very nice fast snap. Can't weather the storm, though. 9-1 the score now for NRG. And just one extra thing I wanted to highlight about that play from Cirque, which we'll see here. So the thing about the flashbang is that flashbang, he uses it for, as James mentioned, for information, because he jumps past, so he uses the flash to make sure he doesn't die when he peeks for info, so then he can then get the AWP shot in. But the cool thing there is that obviously after throwing that flash, if no one is there, then now Cirque's in a position where, okay, I've made sound cues that I've pushed up this far, and I like that there is this situation there where you can decide to just fall back. And that you just make the play very safe. Sometimes you're going to get the frag, sometimes you won't. But it's always going to be pretty safe as you can make a play like that. And so I just really enjoy the fact that one of the things we're seeing from NRG is they'll make plays to get a frag, but they will never overstep. We've seen lots of spots where they get a frag, and I could definitely envision a player overstepping, trying to get a second, but yeah, NRG haven't been doing that.
Yeah, I mean, if he flashes and no one's there, it doesn't matter, no one's there. So it's all good. Really nice stuff from him. And FaZe are back to the pistols again. Guns and ammo is closed today. 10 rounds in, and they only have 1 to their name, FaZe. Right then. Some common smokes. Ethan Molotov's towards the forklift position to stop them trying to flank the A site, and you've got Breeze on the high ground as well, so nice reaction from the CTs. Containing FaZe, limiting their options where they can go. There is a player in mid in Rain, but Fugly pops out from connector again. Passive play in mid from NRG, and it is working to a T.
I'm really impressed by them right now. That's an impressive shot as well from Guardian. Dropping circuit range, a problem player. But the Eagle can often be a very timely answer to problems such as Cirque, but it's not necessarily the most consistent of approaches. And right now, Desperation surely is setting in for FaZe, but you really have to give credit to NRG for the level of discipline that they're showing to us, because they're looking like not only a very tactical team, but a team that is more experienced than they actually are, is honestly what they're looking like. It's often a team that's newer where you would see the explosiveness, but it wouldn't be sort of reined in by the discipline. But we're seeing both things here from their team, and the way they're moving Cirque around is scary as hell.
You can wallbang that position. He's infamous AWP shot from, I think it was Makalele there a while ago. So these are fashion shots at that point. Not much else really to get out of that, Nico, unfortunately for him. 10-1, 4 rounds remaining. NRG are good for 2 rounds should they lose 2 rounds in a row. So FaZe needs to do much just to get a few rounds on the board here.
And they are taking that time out to try to figure out what the hell's going on and get on the same page here. And it's going to be difficult, especially due to the fact that we're seeing less and less cash recently. Again, due to a number of reasons. It's become a pretty difficult map to play. But NRG, again, you would expect more rounds on the T side typically. T side is very strong, and not many teams play that CT side very well and consistently, but so far we've seen nothing but that from NRG. So I'm curious what the answer from FaZe is here. They can still salvage this. They can still get 5 rounds to finish the half with, but how is that going to come about?
Smoke for the front of the B bomb site. Molotov in the vent area to stop someone from holding an angle, and the pop flash in case they try to push what are very common grenades. There is the CT smoke, however, which is dropped aggressively. I like to add a HE grenades behind the box as part of those grenades, because if you're close to the box and someone's behind the box, you will hear the collision, so you'll know for sure that somebody's there or not. 10-1. NRG getting more aggressive now, changing things up after the timeout. Maybe trying to take these players by surprise. So far, so good. Breeze with another multi-frag.
Yeah, it seems like every time FaZe try to poke in to get these engagements, that NRG just get the frags like every single time. And then if FaZe try to make another attempt, somehow NRG find another good timing to catch them off guard again. It's pretty crazy, especially if you consider the previous match, which it was basically the reverse, with FaZe in the driver's seat. But right here, it's NRG driving the tank. And FaZe are so far crushed.
Those grenades towards B at the beginning, everybody should know. If you know Mirage if you know a Mirage with smokes, you should know those smokes and the grenades towards B just as well. So download a demo for once in your life.
You know what, James?
Learn some grenades.
On the ECS YouTube, there is a nothing actually takes you through those grenades.
Oh, there it is. Boom.
Takes you through 3 solo plays on this map. It's not a solo play here from NRG though, it's a team effort. FaZe once again will fold in front of that, and 11 rounds is the result for them. Well, for NRG that is. FaZe still stuck on the meager 1. It's meager, James. It's meager, it's meager.
Meager 1. Solitary units. Not the kind of units you like to be described as.
It's yet to be made plural,
Somebody
James.
tweeted me earlier and they said something along the lines of saw me getting out of a taxi, absolute unit or something like that. I think that's good. Cirque in the shooting range. Had too many targets though, and Guardian will pepper him with the Desert Eagle, and that means Guardian can pick up that sniper rifle if he can get to the site, which he does. All of a sudden, there are 3 rifles in play for FaZe. They don't really have the grenades, but who needs them? They've got the AKs. Ethan and Daps now have a lot to do. There is a smoke. They can try to isolate some of these players. Forced them out with Molotovs. Ethan pre-firing, but there are so many angles. Is there a boost maybe on top? No one to boost him now. Only 1 frag for him. Only 2 rounds for FaZe.
Yeah, and that was one of the rounds made possible just by a fast play on A, and Cirque, he misses a shot finally. It's
misses a shot. They lost the round, Dad.
Yeah, it's a. But that's one of those tough situations where the AWP is posted up in a position where they aren't safe against a fast timing. There's no way to make them safe. They're isolated, and so you have to basically frag out by yourself, and it's difficult when FaZe are wrapping you. But he's back to B. He's back to B. He's been moving around all game, and he's going to look over. He's looking over the smoke to try to catch a cheeky peek, but he won't find one just yet. Ooh, Fugly almost caught, and they're going to burst through.
Oh, look, he's just he's peaked, and now he's on the way down, Cirque. He's fallen to pieces, dropping that smoke that Ricky would often like to drop as well. But it was too deep, so he wasn't able to look over it, which was the plan. Planting for the checkers position. Notes how his team didn't all run to the site like schoolboy football. They kept the map control there to make it harder to retake. And NRG now, again, the pressure of this round forces them to save with 3 players.
Yeah, so FaZe finally getting some stuff done, and it's actually funny because both times it was just a really fast timing, and both times it seems that it caught Cirque off guard. I mean, we saw that he's whiffing some shots there. They take advantage by Fugly's in a very much supportive position, and they take advantage. And the question is though, because they won't be able to find these 3 remaining players, it means that NRG will have a decent enough buy into this next round. Do FaZe just go for another fast play? Is that just the only answer that they found so far? I mean, it seems to be the case. But do they mix it up?
I wonder if Kremen will peek mid with the AK. Doesn't seem so. If he was a sniper, I probably would, but with the spawn he has, you can pick off a player moving to the white box, but Guardian didn't really have the spawn for it. Maybe Kremen was like, hey, Guardian, drop up, and Guardian's like, you what, mate? Last round of the first half. Can they get a fourth round on the board? Ooh, slightly too close. You'll often see Ts shoot this angle at the beginning of a round, even if the smoke is down, because if CTs are trying to make their way to under the boost position, they will take a lot of damage getting there. So there is purpose behind those sprays you see at the beginning of rounds. Minute 20 on the clock. 2 players highway for the CT side. Again, moving more to a passive approach in mid.
And here they come once again. We've seen Ethan do some great stuff here, and he's going to have support of Fugly, but that is a FAMAS. Range is not optimal for Fugly. Breeze close as well. On the highway position, we've got Dats for support as well. It's only really Circu's alone with the team set towards B, so they've got great positioning. That's a good start there from Ethan. As now the FaZe players are committed to push forwards. Croman takes down Fugly, but not without taking some damage as well. Breeze will capitalize, and Ethan playing around the smoke. This is a very hard position to break for the T side players of FaZe, but they have created a 2v2, but the flank is in from Circ. Ooh, they disappear just in the nick of time, though.
Oh, the bomb's on the roof. I don't know if Circ realizes that. Probably not from the radar. Or if he does, his position is pretty strong, but he may feel he's limited to this position regardless because of the weapon he has now. Can he jump off without making any sound? I think he can. This is so awkward, but Guardian spotted him now, but he's got grenades in his hand. The double peek could have been so much, but it was something for FaZe. A 4th round on the board after a very dismal half altogether.
Yeah, that's absolutely going to feel like they're back in the game. Stringing a few together at the end of the half. Even though the scoreline, as you say, looks very grim, they're going to be feeling like, okay, guys, we got something going towards the end there. We started to get ourselves back into this match, and now we get to play that CT side. Now we, if we win the pistol round, get to apply the dominance of that CT side, putting the aggressions in on all sides of the map, getting the AWPs out on Nico. Nico's going to get that door push in. He's going to be pushing pretty much everything with that AWP if he plays it as a secondary AWP. And we know how much of a menace Guardian is as well. So a lot to look forward to here for FaZe. They just have to win this pistol.
Hello. Spots one of 3 players in main and wonders what else might be looking towards Squeaky, and players were advancing, but they've got the bomb, which has not been shown yet, has not been seen by the CT side. So it seems NRG going towards a plan B. Are we being flanked in a mid position, perhaps, is the question. Dap's looking for it. Circ and Fugly boosted. As we can see, Karrigan's just looking for info, nothing more than that. Guardian in a forward position towards the B bomb site allows the CTs to have 3 towards A.
Neither team wanting to concede that first frag. NRG going back to the A position. And FaZe actually, they've got a player in Sunroom, so that is going to allow them to read this, but they are still just staying with 2 players here. They've got a fairly slow response to this A push, but if they hit the headshots, that's all that matters, and so far it looks fairly good. We'll level out, though, as we get Ethan planting the bomb in the 3v3, and this is a good look here for NRG. They've guaranteed the bomb plant. Now it is really a bonus if they win the round, and they definitely have advantages to play with.
Karrigan's by the car position. He has a smoke and a defuse kit, which you'd often see Daps do, ironically, and he would smoke the bomb and try to defuse as his teammates are causing havoc, and that might be the case here as well, especially with that opening frag from Guardian traded. Karrigan getting a kill, Ethan standing in the smoke now. Waiting for the beep. Here's it. Karrigan moves out. He might want to go back in again. Oh, they're reloading. He gets the first headshot, but can he find Karrigan in that smoke? He's spreading, and
wow.
Karrigan has to come off. NRG with round number 12.
How on earth has he managed to pull that one off? That was so awkward. Running around the smoke, it looks like a comedy show, James. They just bump it into each other as the 3 Stooges. But then Ethan emerges out the smoke in a controlled manner, able to find himself the frags. Beautiful save there from Ethan, and that really makes things awkward, very awkward for FaZe now. They're going to force it up.
Indeed, that is not the pistol run they wanted. But let's see now. Anti-force by territory for NRG. Karrigan on the scout. Guardians managed to hold a UMP. 3 players with pistols. A traditional setup for the time being from FaZe, but again, it looks like, well, Karrigan will be scouting in the mid position. And Guardian might be baiting for Rain towards the B bomb site, but he starts to rotate out. Rain is left in an aggressive position behind a box on B. And then we've got Nico and Croman on A with a smoke in hand, which might go down towards a quad position. Not looking to smoke main per se. Karrigan spots one, flicks but no shot. no tag, sorry.
And what NRG had to be so careful of is not getting tagged by that scout before they arrive onto a bomb site. If you had a couple players that have been weakened by that scout, the pistols become incredibly dangerous. They're already very dangerous. Don't want to make it worse. Ethan, got to be careful here. A little bit scary. Mac-10 needs to be the one to go first in that situation. And here comes the push from FaZe. They've worked it out, but the steps are heard by Cirque as he holds the flank. Breeze gets the kill of the Chrome, and is now Cirque is brought into action. And they deal with the flank, and they can go back to A now. And looks like they've made that read. Good play from NRG. Now FaZe have to make the desperate run.
That is really smart. It was looking horrific, but... Oh, Nico, can he make his way onto the site? Breeze cannot go down in this position. Nico repositioning, but that allows them to cross in threes, and now Breeze can just be the bait. He can take that bullet for his team. He's jumping in front of the president. And now the bomb will be planted. 2 versus 2. Got to go for this phase. Already close with Rain. The Mac-10 doing the work, though. And Carrigan will be cleaned up easily afterwards. Round number 13 in the bag for NRG.
And when we talk about experience and maybe the lack of for NRG, there's 2 big things, factors in these kinds of games. Of course, one is just holding your nerve, holding the composure. You're about to, you're in a position where you've got a huge advantage. You should win this game against FaZe now. Every Counter-Strike player that's on the server right now knows that NRG should be the team that wins this game. But it's really closing that is the skill set of an experienced team.
I'm going to closing down, closing doors, closing windows. My forte.
ABC.
If you have a window, I will close your window.
Always
Nico and Kroman in a 2 versus 3. The Mac-10 doing some damage, but can Nico clean up on this? Can he see anything through that? Maybe it's the footsteps he's trying to trace. Moving to the high ground. We've seen him do nasty things on the B bomb site of Cash for Desert Eagle. Although, can he get into the bomb site first? That is the question. Molotov to be deployed and a flashbang will waste more time. Looking for something. Shooting at the front of the site. I think you can see him estimating various angles. There we go, front of the site. Towards first barrels as well. Ethan pops out there immediately. He's had enough of this nonsense. 14-4.
I was talking about closing. They're getting closer and closer. 2 more rounds to go. But we've seen teams fall apart around this range of rounds more times than we care to count. So never want to, and especially when FaZe is on the server, never want to be counting them out. But they're stuck on the rifles at the moment. No AWP. The utility game is not amazing. They're lacking Molotovs. There's only 1 kit. So definitely a lot of problems in the FaZe camp. They are very much encouraged to go aggressive somewhere, and that is something NRG will expect. And Cirque wins the battle through the smoke against Rain.
1 minute 30 for NRG to toy with their opponent. Nico around main. Is he looking for something aggressive, perhaps? Everybody else is limited in what they can do. Carrigan in checkers towards B. But he does not have all the information in the world. Nobody watching B for the time being, but perhaps they won't expect all the gambles being made by FaZe. Now Nico has made his choice. He's moved forward. The aggression in around B may catch him off guard around main. He will hear the footsteps of a boosted player. He can go deeper into that corner. It is a blind spot, but he's choosing the surprise angle, or more surprise angle rather. And the bomb looks like it's headed in his direction.
Well, that's quite the catch, isn't it? Daps does find one over the box, though, on the Croman, but Breeze left in a 1v3. He's a good player, but this is a pretty tall order. That's a beautiful first frag, and that unlocks the bomb. And with that frag, there's now opportunity. He's got 30 seconds, though, and he can run to B as far as FaZe are concerned. So it's interesting to see how they're holding this at the moment. They're keeping Carrigan steady in mid, watching for any cross, should he have gone vents. And Breeze gets enough space to get the plant in here, which is good for the money at the very least. But he can win this round. The peek comes in, the jiggling is afoot now as Breeze pushes forwards, knows he has to get a fast 1v1. Guardian wins it with the aid of the flashbang from a teammate, and FaZe keep themselves in this one.
Not over yet. 2 AKs collected by the last 2 players. And on we go.
Onwards.
Onwards and upwards. 9 rounds behind our FaZe. And this is not a situation they are unfamiliar with. Many a comeback has been had by the likes of FaZe But of course, they are not playing with their full team, and that might make a difference here.
Just want to draw your attention to Ethan so far. Ethan has 24 kills, 8 deaths. He's having quite the game. So many young talents on NRG. Breeze, Ethan, Cirque. It's crazy how much skill they have. It's a hard-hitting team. FaZe are feeling the brunt of that. And NRG with a much slower pace to begin the round here. Once again, detecting that FaZe encouraged to aggression with the nature of how limited their utility is and the fact that they're lacking in AWP. And also the meta of Cash does suggest that the CTs should throw in some kind of an aggression. So NRG in waiting and FaZe in waiting just burns a lot of the clock, which puts a lot of pressure on NRG because they've not done anything on the map. They have no map control so far, except A main.
Breeze's lineup would suggest he opens the door, points at the top of the arrow on the box, and drops a smoke grenade to smoke off quad. So if there was a player holding an angle, he would no longer be doing so. Karrigan picked off very deep in B mid, and you might expect a second player, but there's no one there so far. Nico trading, but Daps will trade straight back, 3 versus 2. And the players are not close. Well, one of them's towards the car. Rain catching up. That smoke, does it go down at the front of the site? That is an absolutely killer smoke. Look how deep that is. No gaps. That makes it really hard to retake. So you don't often see this attempt, though. Will Breeze spot this? Just in time, he will. And now they know exactly where Rain is. So his options are extremely limited. And they're hunting him. Jumps over around the corner to Highway. And he will be run over by the likes of Daps with 3 kills in that round.
And just the way that we're seeing NRG win this game so far, again, it's not over. But we see this round here. They just pick a timing. It's quite late into the round, but they leave themselves enough timing to correct if there's a problem. And they just trade. They just go for a very slow eventual contact play onto a bomb site with just some good trading, good nades. And that's been working out. Good smoke there that prevent the Molotov, and you can see that they can just push forwards, get a fast timing into middle, but Karrigan with the Deagle able to take down Daps as Rain lurks below. Does get traded out though.
Very smart. He doesn't pull out the rifle because he doesn't know if there's time to do so. Does go down eventually though. Breeze and Fugly, 2 AKs versus 2 pistols, but Fugly's in a lot of trouble and he's trying to retrieve the bomb. Breeze might be coming to his defense, but Guardians surely heard Breeze, so they can let the bomb be picked up, and you can see Croman's claiming ignorance, but he'll get the kill himself. NRG started that round well with a smoke. I think you normally see that smoke from Barley, I want to say. Definitely, I think Barley or Snacks on Versus Pro like to throw that one. Took a while to bloom, though, versus normal.
No, it's so good because you just don't expect to be able to...
See it when on a stream?
Hashtag
Sliggy.
More so, it's just so strong because you have to protect yourself. If you want to play close mid, you got to protect yourself from that push, and you do it with a Molotov. If the Molotov's denied, and you're sort of caught in the middle of that, you don't have time to react. So it can be very powerful.
Rain's in an annoying position, but one you can spray through that smoke if you are a player on the T side. It's a nice place to spray when a smoke is done if you're a lurk and they know you're going to be there. But sometimes you'll see a CT move into that position after you spray. Anyway, they're pushing into the B bomb site. Rain is completely blind, but Guardian is holding it down for the time being. Ooh, that's massive damage. Ethan with 6 HP now. Really trying to get that information with some nice jiggle peeks, but they don't take the bait phase. And they move to pretty much the halfway mark, 7 to 15.
And this is a pretty good example as well of in Counter-Strike sometimes, it's often like, we saw the amazing form from the previous map. You hear Lurpers saying, it's hard to bet against that form of Rain, of Nico, and so on. And you can't disagree with that statement. But at the same time, if one team, NRG in this case, is able to prevent FaZe's players from getting into spots in which they can create opportunities, or they themselves are having really immaculate individual games, and they shut down those opportunities there, you're in a really good spot as NRG are here. Sometimes you just don't get the spots you need. Karrigan and Croman holding things down so far against the onslaught of the pistols, but they found a bomb plant in all of this madness, which is a plus.
Yeah, that's great bonus money. the damage doesn't matter so much because they do need just the one round. I mean, at this point, FaZe's money is so low that if they did kill 2 or 3 players, it would actually make their life easier in that one round they need to win, you could argue. But either way, the focus is on the bonus money. Everybody likes bonus money, bonus rounds. Time for NRG to beat up the car. Or it was, rather. Now it's time to finish off the boss. AWP for Cirque. 4 rifles for the rest of the team. Does he have a spawn to go for a peek towards the B-bomb site? Let's see. Seems to be in his happy place, apart from the bunny hopping. Was missing a leg on that one.
Yeah, it's looking like another slow one from NRG. And that can be good. I mean, you want to be getting rid of some of these early grenades from FaZe. That in of itself, you know, that is some economic erosion. They lose money. These are grenades they'll have to purchase next round regardless of what happens. And also, in doing so, you know, you can create a spot where you have somewhat of a utility advantage, or it sort of cancels itself out, whereby you're then afforded this opportunity to throw all these grenades in for a late set piece execution. And the CT counter grenades are not going to be as many in number if you've done a good job pressuring in the early and mid rounds. NRG haven't pressured that too much just yet. It does feel as though they want to just explode onto the A site, and Cirque, he's backing out the angle, coming back in. That's a good catch. Oh, the door's shut. I think Cirque spotted Nico. Where do they go from here, though?
Quad smoked off by Breeze. Carrigan moving towards car. Guardian on the highway position. Looking towards mid, but he can't quickly support. Again, the Molotov down to stop the forklift position being taken by the T's, and that does mean Carrigan can flank, but they're ready for him. 5 versus 3 now. Nico will take Carrigan's place. They could line up for him. Indeed, they will. But the seat will block the final kill, leaving Rain in a 1 versus 3. Fugly hasn't quite hurt him just yet. He has now. Rain trying to bait the shots, trying to make him lose track of his spray. Rain with 9 HP, and Breeze is in the forklift position. Oh, he's above it. So this is going to be very hard for Rain to deal with. Ethan moving into position. The Molotov tells him where Rain is. The jump peek's there, but double peek is here for NRG, and that's going to be that 16-8 for NRG versus FaZe.
Yeah, fantastic performance. I mean, you can see it right at the end there. NRG, they finished just as they started, which is always good to see from a young team like this.